Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the new Brit workshop. I'm very lucky. Festool in the UK have invited me to show you their latest sander. It's the ETS EC 150, and there are two versions. There's the 150/3, which has a 3mm stroke, and the 150/5, which has a 5mm stroke. This is the 3mm stroke version. Inside the box you get the sander itself, instructions and guarantee information, Festool's famous plug-it cable, a tool for changing the sanding pads, and also one sheet of sanding paper. Now it's possible to buy the ETS EC 150 with an optional sleeved suction hose, and this is the ASGQ hose, and basically it's a 3.5 meter long hose with a sleeve around it so that it no longer catches on surfaces in your workshop. It's got the standard fitting on both ends, both for the extractor here and the mains cable which will go into your extractor, and then at the other end you've got the plug-it end which goes into the machine, plus the normal hose ending which goes into the machine as well. Let's just have a look at the hose. It's got this sleeving around it, and if you undo this Velcro here you'll see that there is a zip, and that zip runs the whole length of the hose. So therefore it's possible to remove this outer sleeving if you need to clean it, or if you need to replace or repair the hose in some way. And of course the advantage of this hose is that now it is much smoother than any other hose that you'd have seen with any other tool. So therefore it's not going to skag on the end of a bench, it's not going to skag on the end of a complicated shaped piece of work, and you're going to have a much easier time using the tool as a result. The actual hose that runs down the centre is tapered, and so by the time it gets to this end it's slightly narrower than it is at that end, and it is specifically designed for sanding tasks. Now let me give you a whistle-stop tour of this machine. First of all, I said there were two types, the one with a 3mm stroke and the other with a 5mm stroke. And you can identify which is which by a number which appears here. And this one has the number 3. So if you're working in a workshop and you had two side by side, it's very easy to identify which is which. Now the 150/3 comes with an extra soft sanding pad, which is particularly suitable for curved surfaces. The 150/5 comes with the soft sanding pad, and there is a hard sanding pad available. Now inside the machine is a 400 watt brushless motor made by Festool using their EC Tech technology. Now brushless means there's less power consumption. Less power consumption means there's less heat generated by the motor. Because of that, they're able to reduce the amount of venting needed around the machine, and that in turn means less dust is going to get into the machine, and that means the bearings are going to last much longer and all the moving parts will last so much better. The machine is quieter in operation as a result, and of course it is lighter, and that means less fatigue for the operator. Now I've already said that the power consumption is 400 watts. The speed is between 6,000 and 10,000 RPM. The sanding pad diameter is 150 millimeters. It weighs just 1.2 kilos. And the only controls are an on-off switch at the front here and a speed control here. Now the sanding pad can be changed quite simply using the supplied tool. And I've loosened this already just for simplicity, and one unscrews the little bolt in the middle and out it comes, and then you just replace it with the next one. Do note that there's a shaped cutout here which matches the shape here on the shaft. And the brakes on this are carbide tipped, which means that they're going to have much longer life. Now from time to time in use you would need to access this to clean out this area after perhaps a week's extended use. And the sanding discs go on in the normal manner. And these are the same discs that you would use with any of the other 150mm diameter Festool sanders. Right, let's turn it on for the first time. I've got a 80 grit sheet, that's the one that was provided with the machine, on there now. This is a piece of oak. It's quite undulating on the surface, and it's something I want to maintain. I want this as a top of an outdoor bench, and so I want to keep that natural curve, and that's why this soft pad is perfect. Now, all I'm going to do is set my speed. Because I'm doing this course, I'm going to set the speed to 4. Now just notice the soft start. No vibration. And when you switch it off, it stops almost instantly. Now there is no fan inside the machine, and therefore you cannot have a bag attached here and use it in that fashion. You have to have an extractor. The machine has some clever little tricks in this regard. If I turn it on with the hose attached, it starts. And if I turn it on with the hose detached, it will still turn on. But you can make it such that it will only turn on when the hose is connected. And this is what you do. First of all, turn the machine on. Then turn it off and keep your finger on the off switch. Then you hear the beep. Then you turn the speed control all the way up one way and all the way down the other. And you heard 3 beeps then. 3 beeps mean that it's now gone into a mode whereby you have to have the hose attached. You watch. Nothing. It's just beeping at me saying it will not start. Connect the hose, and now I can start the machine. If I want to turn it back to the situation where you can turn it on whether the hose is connected or not, turn it on. Keep the fingers pressed on the on-off button. There's the beep, all the way one way, all the way the other. 2 beeps this time, which means I turn it on and it will run without the hose connected. Now the brushless motor has another property which is really important. It will run at a constant speed no matter what the load. You watch. I was pressing pretty hard then, and it really didn't bat an eyelid when it was going. So that's really, really good. Now with the soft pad, of course, I can do some detail work, which I needed in places where I'd put this filler. I deliberately put white filler in here so that you'd see the contrast. And look just how smoothly the hose runs across the edge of my bench and across the edge of this board. That's absolutely perfect. Well, that's made rather a nice job of that. Rather pleased, really. Now let's try something really tricky. I'm in the middle of making a little tray as a present for someone, and it's quite delicate. And if it's not going to be destroyed by this machine, then this sanding process will be perfect. And I think that goes to demonstrate just how easy it is to control a 150mm diameter sander on something as delicate and fine as this. There's one final thing I want to demonstrate with the machine. It has inside a vibration sensor, And if the machine detects that the vibration is going beyond a certain point, it will reduce the speed of the motor such that the machine doesn't go out of control. It's really difficult to demonstrate this. Just bear with me. I'll do my best. Now, it's taken me about an hour to try and work out how to make this machine do that, but you would have noticed that I put it under extreme load on a fairly rough piece of wood, and eventually it detected quite a bit of vibration and it reduced its speed. I lifted it off the surface and then it resumed the speed that I had it set at. Well, that's it. That's the brand new Festool ETS EC 150 finishing sander. And let me just remind you of the key characteristics. First of all, at 1.2 kilograms, it's a very light machine and very easy to handle. The controls are suited to one-handed operation. Press the on button, it stays on. You don't have to keep your finger pressed there. You can adjust the speed as you're going along. It's got a brushless motor and all of the advantages that I've mentioned before about that, and it includes long service life. It's got vibration detection, so if the vibration levels get too high, it will reduce the speed. But there are other advantages as well. Now, when you receive your machine and open the box for the first time, you'll find a label like this attached to the machine. And it says Service All Inclusive, and that has 4 aspects to it. First of all, you get a 15-day money-back guarantee. So in the first 15 days, you can return the machine should you wish. You get 3 years of warranty repair. You get 3 years of theft protection. And you also get a guarantee that spares for the machine will be available for a period of 10 years after the date of purchase. And of course, Festool have introduced this new sleeved hose, which overcomes a number of the problems that people find in the workplace, particularly of getting extraction hoses caught up in workpieces or workbenches. Well, that just about concludes my introduction to Festool's brand new ETS EC 150 finishing sander. It's been a delight to use, and I've even managed to do a little bit of work at the same time. I really like this machine, but don't take my word for it. Go to your local Festool dealer or go to a show and try one for yourself. There are plenty of opportunities to do that. That's what I did a few weeks ago. I tried it and I was very, very impressed. So you should do the same. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.